We just learned so much so quickly that we have a lot to celebrate now because we're seeing a lot of turnout in our monthly meetings. We're seeing people come up to us and ask us about the group, even if we're not necessarily advertising it. They're excited for our quarterly events. It's just been really exciting and a brand new experience. It's been really nice to be able to bring these groups of people together because we have regulars that we see at every event, and then they bring their friends and then they become regulars, and just random stragglers that come to one event and you'll see them at a different chamber event and you're like, oh, hey. So it's really nice to bring everyone together in that kind of way.
Welcome back to The Rock Pod, produced for the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. I'm John Gay from Jag and Detroit Podcasts.
I'm Lisa Bibby with Century 21 Northland.
Today we're excited to talk about Royal, the young professionals group within the Royal Oak Chamber. With us are Nick Dane and Jaime Rowland. Both of them work in their day jobs at Citizen State Bank. Welcome both of you to the podcast.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, John. Thank you, Lisa.
We're going to talk a lot about Royal. We're going to talk about your professional background, but our listeners have told us they really like to get to know folks on the podcast as people. We always kind of ask for icebreakers beforehand. So, Jaime, I've got to ask you, you're a former ninja, well, not ninja, but ninja gym enthusiast. Tell us about
She's
this.
She's a ninja.
Yeah, I wish I could say I was a ninja. No, I lived in Illinois briefly, and I found this really awesome Ninja Warrior gym that was geared towards adults. And I fell in love with it. It was so much fun. And then I moved back here, and all of the ninja gyms around here are for kids.
Oh, really?
Oh, no. They need to have adult versions.
They really do. They really do. So looking at you, chamber members, if you guys want to open a franchise, let me know. I will immediately join your gym because I'm really missing it. So I've been trying out different things lately. Like I've been doing boxing classes and things like that, but nothing really is quite as fun as it's just so fun to like swing around and climb things.
We've got a couple gyms that are chamber members that I will connect you with off the podcast.
Please
because
do.
They are fantastic.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Jaime, you're an avid traveler. Where was your last trip?
Well, my last trip was just to North Carolina, but actually in a week, I'm going to Peru with a friend of mine.
Oh, have you ever been?
No, I haven't. I'm very excited. We're going to do the whole Machu Picchu thing and
That's amazing.
hopefully meet some alpacas.
Yes, you got to give them some love.
That's right.
Lisa and I are both huge animal lovers.
Yeah.
Nick, tell me about croquet. I've never actually met anybody that plays croquet.
Yeah, figure as far as icebreakers go, it should be something unique and memorable. So the backstory is that I was kind of sort of born into it. My family owns a home up north in a town called Charlevoix.
Oh, yeah.
And in Charlevoix, their summer festival that they have every July has all sorts of events. They have like fireworks, boat parades, a big fair. And one thing that they also host are like sports tournaments where people can compete in various sports like basketball, volleyball, soccer. One of them happens to be croquet. And then, given that my family has been up there for generations now, that sort of just has become the game that we've consistently fielded teams for every year. So, I mean, I'd say for the past 30 years, if I'm up north at that house, I'm either practicing croquet or we're trying to get teams together and strategize on how we're going to win the tournament, but it's been pretty good. We play very frequently. We can take it pretty seriously because we want to win that tournament every year. So I get that medal and kind of brag, but we have fun doing it. And yeah, it's a good time. It's reminiscent of golf a little bit, but so far I don't think it's really helped my putting game. It's more of, it's making it through the wickets. But yeah, we get pretty creative with it. And a fun fact that a lot of people don't know is that croquet used to be an Olympic sport. So the year they bring that back, I'm going to be joining that team probably.
So many Olympians here in Michigan and so many different sports. Like, will be happy to have you join that illustrious group.
Yeah, of course.
Well, it sounds like a great way to enjoy the afternoon. And maybe you can even bring that down to the chamber and we can do a little croquet event on the
Now
lawn.
you're talking, yeah.
That would be fun.
It's very kind of low stakes and it's just kind of hanging out outside, like hitting balls around and...
Nice. So, Nick, you recently lived in New York. What brought you back to Michigan?
Yeah, so I was born and raised in Michigan, born on the east side. And then from there, I moved out to the West Bloomfield area. So I've kind of been in the Metro Detroit area forever. My family, my network, most of my work experiences around here. So Michigander through and through. But, when I was a younger guy right out of college, there's a lot of my peers were traveling to new cities to see what it was like. And I work in kind of like a finance-based industry, so the allure of going out to New York City, the capital of the financial world, and really getting my feet wet in a very exciting industry of like New York was something that I always wanted to do. So I got the opportunity to work for a French investment bank. They're called SocGen. They're based in France, and I was on their LBO team.
LBO, leverage buyout?
Yeah, exactly. Leverage buyouts. Yeah, look at you. That's pretty high financial acumen there. So SocGen is a French bank, so they'd facilitate acquisitions of European sponsors buying American companies. So that was a very cool experience. Loved the city. Obviously, the most exciting cities to live in and be a part of. And I wanted to come back to Michigan eventually. So and one of the reasons why I came back a little early was because I was there during the COVID pandemic. So
yeah,
very interesting time to be there. It's funny. I have a picture of me. I think it's in like Times Square, like maybe a week or two before the lockdowns. And everything was completely normal. There was crowds. Everyone was enjoying themselves. And then a month later, it was a ghost town. I've never seen anything like it. Like I remember taking one of those city bikes and just bombing down Park Avenue just because there was no cars on the road. It was unreal. But yeah, so eventually came back to Michigan, and that's kind of when I got introduced to Citizen State Bank, and not necessarily the same line of work I was in before, but it's really cool. I love working for the bank and love being Royal Oak specific now.
Nick, you're doing my job for me and making the transitions for me. You mentioned coming back to Michigan during COVID. You know, Royal has really traditionally been an extremely well-run part of the chamber and to get our young professionals involved. And I know it kind of needed to be resuscitated after COVID. And you and Jaime working at Citizen State Bank, can you talk about your roles there and how you got involved with running Royal?
So we were approached just kind of being, young leaders within our specific enterprise, and TSB, the firm we work for, is heavily involved. So the opportunity was presented. I thought it'd be a great fit for me, just mainly because I'm already helping smaller businesses with sourcing capital and accessing loans and helping grow businesses. And the reason why it works well is because Royal right now is comprised of a lot of younger entrepreneurs, small business owners. So me being in a position where I'm already helping with those kinds of people just made sense, where it could help cultivate an environment for them to come in and not only work with lenders like me, but also other professionals throughout the market. It just made sense that I'm already helping small businesses professionally, and that also allowed me to sort of have some insights on how I can help other young professionals in the area. So far, I've gotten a lot out of it.
All right, let's switch it over to you, Jaime, because it's easy to see how Nick's role as a commercial lender and getting into this, but you're the marketing director. I feel like this is right up your alley, right?
It absolutely is. And the whole idea of Royal and outreach and making connections between people is exactly what my job is. So it was really just a natural extension of that. And Citizen State Bank has been a member of the chamber since they moved their headquarters over to Royal Oak. And being the only bank headquartered in Royal Oak, that's a community bank. We're very focused on people. It's really in our mission statement to connect people and create relationships with our customers and potential customers and just the community in general. So it was really just a natural fit.
Thank you both for taking this on and being big supporters of Royal. Can you talk to us a little bit more about who it's for, what you guys offer, and how it's structured?
Yeah, I'd say right now our group's mostly comprised of business owners, young entrepreneurs. I'd say maybe that's 50, 60%. A lot of them have smaller business, whether they're, sole proprietors or they have employees. So those people are mainly there to, one, meet more people in the community, make connections, and then two, see if there's anyone within our small network that could helpfully leverage something that they do to help their business grow. And then another significant portion of our group's comprised of, like I said, maybe salespeople working for an employer, trying to build their book of business, make connections, and then other leaders within small businesses that are just involved with the Royal Oak community and want to give back. A lot of the people in our group either work or live in Royal Oak. Me, myself, since graduating Michigan State in 2017, I've lived in Royal Oak, except for my stint on the East Coast. So we're all very Royal Oak focused. And I think it's something that if, you're a business owner or, even just a resident of Royal Oak and you want to get more involved in the community, it's a great opportunity. So it's for anyone who owns a business, works for an employer that wants to build their network, professional development, and give back. Those are kind of our main focus points. So we've got a lot of Royal Oakers that are very involved for that reason.
Jaime, talk to me about how your experience has been running Royal and what that has been like for you diving into this.
It's been really exciting. It's a brand new experience for me. So Nick and I are kind of learning how to run this group as we go. And It started off kind of slow, and we just learned so much so quickly that we have a lot to celebrate now because we're seeing a lot of turnout in our monthly meetings. We're seeing people come up to us and ask us about the group, even if we're not necessarily advertising it. They're excited for our quarterly events. It's just been really exciting and a brand new experience. It's been really nice to be able to bring these groups of people together because we have regulars that we see at every event, and then they bring their friends and then they become regulars, and just random stragglers that come to one event and you'll see them at a different chamber event and you're like, oh, hey. So it's really nice to bring everyone together in that kind of way.
So Jamie, can you tell us if there's people out there that are interested in joining Royal, how can they become a part of it? And you also have some upcoming events. So can you tell us about some of those?
So we really gear our events and meetings towards young professionals between the ages of 21 and 40. So if anyone is interested in joining, they can reach out to Nick or I. You could also just show up to our monthly meetings the first Tuesday of every month at 8 a.m. at the Chamber. It's also on the Chamber's website. So if you go to their events calendar, search Royal, will pop up.
And on the Royal Oak Chamber app, I'm sure you want me to give a plug for that. The Royal Oak Chamber has an app now too.
Yes, I love the app.
I'd like to echo what Jamie said before. So anyone that has any sort of vague curiosity or interest in joining, just please do not hesitate, showing up to our meetings or following up. We're pretty laid back and there's low stakes. The monthly meetings are always free. So I just recommend seeing what we're about because like Jamie said, we've been growing a lot and, ideally we'd like to grow this group larger. It would be great to double the size. And like Jamie went over, we've got several great events scheduled this year. One of them being is we've got this really cool event. It's called Pitch and Mingle. It takes place June 25th, 5:30 p.m. to 9. And it's actually between 3 other chambers. So there's going to be 3 chambers of young professionals all kind of hanging out at this baseball game and mingling and hopefully making some connections. So
Nick, is that at the Royal Oak Leprechauns?
Yeah, it is right over Memorial Park. The Royal Oak Young Professionals Group, Royal, hosted an event there last year. It was pretty good. Great turnout, beautiful weather. Everyone had a lot of fun. So hoping this one's going to be 3 times as fun because there's 3 chambers.
Yeah, and we've got lots of fun games planned and, you get snacks and just meeting people outside of your normal network, I think will be really nice because like I said, we do have a lot of regulars at our events. So this gives our regulars an opportunity to meet people outside of their typical network.
I will say the Royal Oak Leprechauns are a chamber member, and I went to a game there last year, and it is a phenomenal time. It's a lot of fun. We loved our Tigers, but it's way less expensive than going downtown to a Tigers game, and it's a lot of fun. And I'll also say, when I first joined the chamber several years ago, I fell into that 21 to 40 demographic, and I was a part of Royal. I will say I have, popped in on you guys a couple times to check on some events as a 44-year-old.
Yeah, you're good.
I have not been turned away at the door, so it's not a hard age restriction. If you want to come out, absolutely check it out.
Yeah. Yes.
For sure. And I do want to mention our next event that's coming up before the Royal Oak Leprechauns game. On May 22nd, we have an after-hours event at HopCat, sponsored by CSB. So there will be free hors d'oeuvres, there's a cash bar, and just mingling with other young professionals.
I'm glad you mentioned CSB, your employer, because we had Dan Fisher, your boss, on way back in episode 37 of the Rock Pod. He was fantastic. I'd encourage our listeners to go back and listen to that one if they haven't heard from Dan. We'll link to it in the show notes as well. And we appreciate everything that CSB does, both for Royal and for the Chamber itself. You guys have been great partners.
Thank you.
Well, now it is time for our Fishbowl question of the day, where we ask you a totally random question.
Oh boy.
John, can you dig in?
All right, let's take a look through here. All right, I'm going to ask you to each contribute 1 item to this answer. What are the 2 things you would bring with you to a zombie apocalypse?
Oh boy.
Ooh.
So is it me providing one and then Jamie providing the other, or you want 2 from each of us?
1 from each.
Okay.
Well, my answer is going to really depend on what Nick's bringing.
Yeah, that's true. We got to be strategic about this.
Yeah, we do.
They're a team. They've been working together for a while.
Yeah. I'm kind of leaning towards bringing something, sentimental, like, my dog or, like something like that. But we're being we want to get this taken care of.
Jamie is shaking her head at Nick right now.
Nick, we're trying to survive.
Yeah, okay,
Jamie's saying no, this is about survival.
She's a big dog, she could take down a zombie or 2.
She could. She probably could.
Give me like a canoe so I can travel to a remote island where hopefully there's no one on there. So
That sounds really smart.
no people, no zombies. There you go.
Jamie's like waiting for Nick to answer so they can come up with something together. He's like, yeah, I'm out of here. I'm in the canoe. See ya.
Right, yeah. He's just going to leave me.
Jamie, I think he's left you. What are you bringing?
I feel like I need something like sharp to fight off the zombies and be able to get food. I don't know, like a machete. That seems reasonable, right?
You're going to hunt and gather with the same item. I like it.
Yeah.
I was thinking you were going to bring a samurai sword with your ninja skills.
That's a good option too. Yeah.
And now we've brought it all the way back around.
Full circle.
My closing statement would be, if you're a young professional, one thing that a lot of us share being young professionals is we're typically hungry. We want to get our name out there. So it's really important to leverage any vehicle you can to do that. And I'd say this specific group is great for that. You're going to meet people from all sorts of industries. You're going to get a massive referral source, and people within the group are going to refer business to you because you'll be the first person that they think of when they want to refer business. So if you've got that kind of mentality, you want to get your name out there, build a brand, this is an absolute great opportunity to do that. And again, it's very accessible. We meet monthly. We have these really great quarterly events. There's professional development, networking, everything. So do not hesitate to think about coming to one. It's very easy to join, and we're all very welcoming.
Yeah, and just kind of piggybacking off of what Nick said, definitely reach out to one of us or check the chamber calendar. But to me, the most important thing is just show up, come to one of our meetings. You don't need to have like the perfect elevator pitch or know anyone ahead of time. We're a super welcoming group. So the best way to get involved is simply to attend a meeting or an event. And from there, it'll just naturally start building your network and you'll start finding your place in the community.
Definitely.
Feel free to reach out to us. My email is jrowland, JROWLAND @micsb.com.
And likewise, we're co-chairs. So if she's not available, you can also reach out to me as well. You can put us both on an email. My email is ndane @micsb.com. Or if you prefer just texting, just get more information, you can go ahead and text my phone, 248-709-7988.
Thank you guys so much for being on our show, and especially for stepping up and hosting the Royal Group. We really appreciate it, and I'm sure all the young professionals in the area are excited to come check it out. My name is Lisa Bibby. I'm a realtor with Century 21 Northland, and I put the real back in realtor. We want you to love where you live. Questions about buying or selling your home? Call my cell, 248-981-3610. My website is soldbylisab.com, and you can find me on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram at soldbylisa. Let's connect.
And I am John Gay from Jag in Detroit Podcast. I take the pain out of podcasting. If you have any questions at all about starting or improving a podcast, you can find me at jagindetroit.com or on social at jagindetroit. We want to thank you for checking out this episode of The Rock Pod. It is produced for the Royal Oak, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. To get involved with the Chamber, find out about Chamber events, and that includes Royal. You can visit royaloakchamber.com. Thanks, everybody.